Dude, he's good. He's absolutely good.
Hey, Sydney's mic, testing 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3. Sydney's mic, testing 1 2.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to 5 on your feet. I'm still trying to get used to saying that. 5 on your feet, 5 on your side.
Still kind of new.
There's 5 on your sideline for the sports. So anyway,
so many things.
5 is always on your side, I guess. That's the bottom line. I'm Ryan D.
And I'm Cindy Stallworth. We're happy to have you here with us while you're scrolling on your phone, or maybe you're just taking a break on YouTube. Either way, we're happy to be talking with you. Now, today we're going to start off with a story I've been following all week. Kids ages 5 to 11 are officially approved to get the Pfizer COVID vaccine. Now, just moments ago, we got an update from Dr. Sam Page of St. Louis County, and he gave us our plans to roll out the shots for younger kids. Starting Saturday, vaccines will be available at John C. Murphy Health Center in Berkeley and the Rock Road Library branch where I was at earlier, Ryan. Next week, vaccinations will start at all 3 health clinics and 4 library locations. Dr. Page says St. Louis County is seeing the greatest community spread in kids with ages 5 to 9 having the highest COVID transmission levels, but still some parents are hesitant.
I'm not giving that vaccine to any of my children.
Now, in a survey by the Kaiser Family Foundation, about 73% of parents in the country say they won't vaccinate their kids right away, even with this approval. A third of parents say they'll wait to see what happens for a while and then decide. They're concerned about testing protocols and potential side effects. In Pfizer's trial of about 4,000 kids ages 5 to 11, the company reported no, quote, serious side effects of the 10 microgram dose. That's about a third of what adults are getting. One local doctor stresses that the benefits of getting vaccinated outweigh the risk.
So the safety data that we have available showed very few, if any, substantial side effects, more than high fevers for a couple of the kids who got these, and that did not seem to be affected very much by their age within the study.
Now, that doctor was with Mercy Health, and we're told Mercy has had its order of vaccines shipped, and booking for appointments to get the vaccine with them should open up tomorrow or Friday. Now, Ryan, a lot of parents have questions about this. Clearly, we see about over 70% of parents in the country are a little hesitant when it comes to getting that shot. Now, the CDC and Dr. Sam Page, speaking earlier, he was really pushing parents to ask your pediatrician if you have any questions about this shot.
Yeah, that's why they were saying earlier that instead of doing like the mass vaccination clinics that we saw with the adults, they're going to go this smaller route, so that way you can have more questions answered by pediatricians, by the pharmacists. Yeah, I'm a dad of young kids. Very hot topic in my circles for sure.
Absolutely.
What folks are deciding, and I think one of the arguments that we hear for folks who don't want to get the vaccine is that children, while they can carry the virus, they can get the virus, that sometimes they don't even get sick. So and then you have doctors saying, well, hold on, that's not always the case. So.
And because they don't get sick, sometimes you don't know, and they're spreading into each other, spreading into older people. But they say that this is one of our last steps in really getting over that hump and hopefully getting out of this pandemic. Now, if you are in the St. Louis County area and you have some questions about the vaccine rollout or just vaccinations for kids, you can find those answers on revivestl.com.
And that's the county website, right? Revivestl.com. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have hesitations to get your kids vaccinated? Let us know in the comment section below. You also can subscribe to our YouTube page, and that's how you can comment there on YouTube. All right, 9:21, let's move on to this story. It's back to work today for Pontoon Beach police officers. Police from other departments filled in while officers grieved the loss of Officer Tyler Timmons. The officers are being offered grief counseling. They're also even talking about having a therapy dog join the staff to help with morale and help with grieving there as well. Timmons' funeral, by the way, was yesterday in Collinsville, and hundreds showed up to support the family. It was just a beautiful service. I was out there yesterday. Law enforcement from all over the state and region attended the funeral, and a moving procession as well that followed. His wife, who's also a police officer, gave a beautiful eulogy. She was actually one of the first speakers to go, talking about how much her husband loved just being a cop. She said the definition of hero was her husband. Timmons' brother also got up and spoke to the crowd. People were talking about how he was such a jokester. He had this wonderful outlook on life. Was such a jokester. In fact, they ended the funeral with "Ice Ice Baby," the song, because that was Tyler Timmons' favorite song.
That was his favorite song.
Yeah, so they had some gospel music, and then they ended it with "Ice Ice Baby." This right here, what you're seeing here, this is part of the procession.
So look at all those flags there. Yeah, it's such a powerful sight.
So there were more than 3,000 flags planted outside the convention center. It was by a nonprofit group. So they do that for fallen military members, for fallen first responders, and fallen military heroes and officers as well. So
that's wonderful.
yeah, for sure. Okay, so you can actually help the Officer Timmons' family, by the way. Text the word support to 314-425-5355, and we'll send you a link to several ways you can actually donate.
Thanks for that story, Ryan. Well, we have some good news for St. Louis in the lawsuit against the Rams. The Missouri Court of Appeals has rejected Stan Kroenke's request to move the Rams relocation trial out of St. Louis. St. Louis city officials are asking for financial damages they claim they suffered when the Rams moved to LA in 2016. If the two sides can't reach a settlement, then the lawsuit goes to trial in January at the Carnan Courthouse. Now, Ryan, when I first got here, I've learned that saying the Rams around here is like saying a curse word.
Well, so the Rams kind of a curse word. Kroenke, though, you don't want to say Kroenke.
That's a curse.
If you want to ruin a party in St. Louis,
It's like record
you
scratch.
just say I'm a fan of Stan
silence.
Kroenke.
Yeah.
You know, it is fascinating to just do like a Google search now or a YouTube search and see the national audience now talking about this lawsuit, because now that the other NFL owners might be on the hook to help pay for the settlement if St. Louis were to win, other cities are like, whoa, whoa.
Definitely got some national attention with that one.
For sure. Okay, in less than 2 hours, Sydney, with a big news conference coming up here from St. Louis County. Our friend Cusimano confirms Belle Reve Country Club in Town and Country scores another big-time golf tournament.
All right.
It will host the 2030 President's Cup that pits the best U.S. golfers versus other golfers around the world. Now, it's similar to the Ryder Cup, but it excludes European players, because the Ryder Cup is U.S. versus European players. So this one excludes European players. The PGA loved its time in St. Louis 3 years ago when Belle Reve hosted the PGA Championship. In fact, Tiger Woods couldn't get over how electric the crowd was, even saying he wished that they could play in front of crowds like they won in St. Louis every single week. So not only big crowds, but you have to think about big money as well. Some of the times when they talk about economic impact, things get a little inflated, but when they were talking about the money coming in for the 2018 PGA Championship, there was estimates about $100 million, because remember, it's a week-long event. It's not just one and done. There's 4 days of golf, then there's practice rounds leading up to that. So big money, world stage in St. Louis, and Belle Reve is such a beautiful course out there this morning, and I was just praying the sprinkler wasn't coming on.
Yeah, I know, I was going to say.
It's just a beautiful course for sure.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And if we know anything, St. Louis is a sports town for sure.
And we'll have a wrap up at noon, by the way. Frank Cusimano will be live on 5 on Your Side on the TV side to break down what was discussed.
That's awesome. Tune in on air. All right, let's turn to one of the top stories in the nation right now. The Braves have won the World Series. They're the World Series champs. They shut out the Astros 7-0, winning the series 4-2. It's the first time the Braves won the World Series since 1995. That's 26 years.
A lot of St. Louisans don't like the Astros, so that is just fine with us.
All
Okay,
right.
This story is getting shared all over St. Louis. Local businesses are warning of a natural gas shortage if Spire Gas Pipeline shuts down next month. It'll be running through December 13th, by the way. But Anheuser-Busch told our partners at the St. Louis Business Journal that there could be a serious lack of production with the loss of this pipeline.
All right, now this story is out of Wentzville. It's picking up speed this morning, and for good reasons. Pretty scary for all the parents out there listening. A mercury spill sent a child to the hospital. It spilled about 5 months ago when some kids were playing with a small vial of elemental mercury. It happened inside a home. So now that home and 2 others in the area have crews removing contaminated items while the families had to evacuate. The Environmental Protection Agency is investigating. Now we have some information. Here's some tips from the EPA about mercury. If it's not properly cleaned up, it can remain there for months or even years and cause an ongoing health risk. If you think mercury was spilled, the EPA says you should not use mops, towels, or vacuums to clean it up. Bag it in a bag, any mercury contaminated clothing and shoes, and put them outside in the sun. That's the best way to get rid of that.
That's a crazy story.
That is, right? A small vial.
Wow. Okay, this onion recall isn't going anywhere. Some people are getting sick from the nationwide salmonella outbreak, by the way. The CDC says nearly 1,000 people have gotten sick now. Even some have gone to the hospital, but no one has died. Now, these recalled whole onions were imported from a region of Mexico supplied by ProSource Produce and the Keeler family farms. They were imported between July and the end of August. It's happening among the red, white, and yellow onions. So if your onions are properly stored, by the way, they have a shelf life of 3 months, which means you might not be out of the woods if they're still good and they're on your shelf. And so experts say, if you don't know where your onions came from, so a lot of times you take them out of the bag and you put them just in the bowl or whatever, just the best thing to do is just throw them out.
Exactly. Just play it safe. And when we do these recall stories, I know a lot of people, you might kind of just tune it out, but these are really important things to pay attention to, because if you ignore it, the cost can be way greater than you ever expected. Speaking of some food, I guess, this has our fishing crowd excited this morning. Local lakes are getting filled to the gills, get it right, with nearly 40,000 rainbow trout. That includes some in Ferguson, Forest Park, and Kirkwood. You'll need a fishing permit for the winter trout season, which runs from mid-November to mid-February. Happy fishing.
This is great. My 7-year-old's getting into fishing now.
Oh, really?
And you know how we caught a sunfish in Tillis Park a couple weeks ago? With a hot dog.
Really?
Yeah.
You got to do what you got to do.
We were getting nowhere with worms, and he said, Dad, try a hot dog. And he brought one. I was like, oh,
that's awesome.
Whatever.
Your kids are awesome. They're into fishing and dinosaurs.
Fishing and dinosaurs. Welcome to the world, little kids.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So fishing makes me think of summer, obviously, but it's definitely cooling down outside. And Ameren is out with some tips to help you save money on your heating bills, which is always good news. Yeah. Run the humidifier on your thermostat, which can keep you comfortable enough to turn the thermostat down. Remember, for every degree you turn your thermostat down, you can save 2 to 3% on heating cost. I need to send this to my wife. You should also open your drapes when the sun's out and take advantage of solar heating and turn those ceiling fans. In the winter, they should go clockwise to help push the warm air down. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I didn't know until I was a homeowner, and I was like Googling, because I was like, man, the fan here is cold, and it's, you have to go the other way. Or clockwise. I don't know what, that works.
Right. You got to keep track of these things, because honestly, that bill adds up quickly.
It sure does.
And we were both outside today. I don't know about you. I was bundled up. I had my scarf on. I had the coats on.
I had gloves on,
Oh my gosh, this week is going to be a chilly one. Let's check in with Anthony to see what we can expect.
Hey there, thanks for joining us Wednesday morning. First freeze of the season happened, and we have those temperatures this afternoon that will climb back into the low 50s. So we'll be at about 50 degrees here in St. Louis, maybe up to about 52 or 53 down near Lake of the Ozarks. But numbers today still below average. We don't actually get back near average until the weekend, but sunny skies continue all the way until Sunday, Monday, and those numbers do start to warm up. 60 come Saturday, 67 on Sunday, and then perhaps even 70 for Monday and Tuesday.
All righty, Fitbits, step counters, Apple Watches. Most of us have, or at least tried these things. But now studies show that obsessively tracking fitness metrics can lead to negative outcomes and unhealthy mindsets. In fact, some professional runners have had success with leaving their watches at home. But there is an upside to using these fitness trackers. Some runners gain motivation by comparing themselves to others or by reaching goals. Do you have one?
I do have one. I was training for a run.
You left it at home.
I did. I'm not wearing it. Not wearing it today. Oh, Wakanda forever. But I was not wearing the watch really for about 6 months.
Oh.
But when I do train for runs and stuff, I do wear it all day. But yeah, it can become a lot. You're scrolling, tracking your steps. It's okay. Just let it go.
I need to wear one. It would tell me to run, I'm sure.
Oh, gosh.
Get going. Get going.
Well, speaking of health, a lot of us got lonely during 2020. We interacted less. We were more isolated, but that might not be the worst thing. Listen to this. StudyFinds.org reports the state of constant isolation during the pandemic improved well-being for people of all ages. About 43% of people think the isolation helped them spend more time working on key career skills. A lot of participants also say picking up an old hobby greatly improved their mood. Now, I can believe this, honestly.
Yeah.
I think for us and journalists and things like that, we've kind of been on the move so much during the pandemic. We haven't really had that isolation, but If you started a business or maybe switched industries, I can totally understand how it would have helped you.
I think it's also how you're wired, right? I mean, because some people, they're just good being alone. They're just
Yeah.
like, you know what, I'm okay with it. Like, and I'm kind of that way. So like, if I have some time off, I want to be alone. My wife is absolutely the other side. She likes to be
Super
around
social,
people. So
yeah.
like, she hated working from home. She was like, this is not great.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I think, in comment too, but let us know. I think a lot of folks, at first, it was like, ooh, this is not great. And then they got into a really good rhythm of working at home.
Yeah.
And then it was just in time where work's like, come on back,
I know,
come
it's
on
like,
back. And it's like,
no.
wait a minute,
Yeah,
wait a minute.
not
I'm
yet.
comfortable now.
Exactly.
I finally got the desk, the chair right. Everything's
Right.
good.
And it's amazing how quickly we can adjust and how quickly we adjusted during the pandemic to finding that
Yeah.
new normal. And
Yeah.
for some people, it really worked at home.
I mean, we were actually producing television shows from
From-
living rooms.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I mean, like, and remember, you've all seen the shots of, the booth, and there's directors and producers, and someone were home doing that
Yeah.
from their living room on the walkie-talkie type headset, and communicating with anchors that were also home in front of a green screen. So
It's
just
amazing.
crazy technology for sure.
I know, I was going to say, what a gift.
What a gift.
All right, well, comment, let us know how the pandemic has been for you. It's been great as usual. And
Not the pandemic, just
not
today.
the pandemic, but today on Five Year Feed. We'll see you later.
See ya.